Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Saturday night? Can you hear me? Check 1, 2, 3. Just want to make sure this thing is working. You know, technology is going to take over our lives. It already has, right? And speaking of which, I was thinking today after I realized I have this freaking computer and then I have a desktop, you can see, right? And then the phones and this and that, right? Well, I mean, and then the phones basically, right? The Windows computer is just fucking useless, all right? So I'm thinking, this is my life, or this is what our life is going to be, or it has become, you know? No human fucking interaction, but rather, which we call, we are just so dependent on these stupid computers and the phones, right? Yeah, you can say they are the extension of our mind, our brain, right? And they give us the ability and capability to do things that our brain cannot do. I understand that part, understand. However, in our primal nature, we are in our primal nature we are social animals, all right? And if the technology is going to slowly take that away from us, all right, however it's going to do, and if this is the beginning of some sort of a, like a foundation for some sort of a new human cyborg, I don't know, not human cyborg, sir, but like human technology, civilization, then we have to rethink our own place in time. Our own place in time, when I say in time, means we're our own time in place and place in time, all right? Means what is our role going to be if we are going to be so much dependent on these gadgets, all right? That are we going to slowly lose our ability to interact with other human beings? I would say yes, to an extent. I mean, look, I don't have any kids, but I have a feeling, and I know from listening to other podcasters and other people who have kids and who are experiencing this, especially their kids, because they are basically growing up with these things, smartphones, whatnot, right? In our times, obviously, there was no such thing as a smartphone or not even a phone. So we were basically growing up just playing out in the dirt, swimming in the ponds, right? Trying to learn, right? How to swim and then how to navigate life, right? When we were growing up as kids. Yeah, there are always issues in the family. Especially for me, I was very aloof, not very confident, right? especially when I was young. Uh, but then, what's happening now? Look, what's happening now is that I think parents are probably many of you out there are dealing with this. Is that now kids are growing up with these phones and social media and all that, right? Are they not doing the things that they're supposed to do as kids? Like, I'm not saying that, oh, now, kids should do exactly what we did when we were growing up as kids, right? I'm not saying that. Obviously, they have more opportunities, right? They don't have to play in the dirt. I'm pretty sure there are places where they can play, actual game, and they can interact with other mates, right? Friends. I'm talking about, and I think this is one of the hottest topics, hottest and hardest also in America, in a place like America, in Western world, is not only the interaction of kids with are kids being part of this society that has taken off with this advanced technology, right? With whatever phones and without repeating myself. Where are we going to go with this? Means what? Okay, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start my podcast with this topic, but I guess I am doing it, right? And what I'm doing is I'm just babbling. Sorry, I'm just talking shit. All right. After I was thinking, I was going from this computer to that computer, and I was working, and I just finished some work, and I did actually, I did some cooking, and I did also, I did a cooking video, which I posted to my YouTube channel. And then I was kind of getting worked up. Why the hell do I have to deal with this fucking computer? And then I have to go to the other one, and then I have these freaking phones, and it's I was on the phone with my wife, and then she went to sleep because she's on the other side of the globe, right? And so it kind of made me sad, to be honest with you. It kind of made me sad that maybe I'm getting fucking old and maybe I don't want to fucking deal with multiple computers, right? And just get rid of all these fucking, hey man, why do you have this computer? Yeah, I have this computer because I watch movies, and the other laptop I had, it doesn't fucking work. The camera doesn't work, right? So that's basically just useless. And then the desktop, I just use it for work, right? And then I realized, why? I mean, it's what the fuck? Why? So that's a practical problem, right? But then that made me think about this whole thing with, for example, think and things, and right. For example, what's going to happen? I mean, I'm talking about we just have taken off with this technology, right? And kids are growing up now, right? Speaking of which, there are not a lot of people, especially in the Western world that I know, have kids. That's a whole different topic. That's called the depopulation. That probably is going to fucking make us extinct more than anything. as per our technological guru Elon Musk, right? That's a possibility. That's a real possibility if you run the fucking numbers, right? In any case, I don't want to discuss that. But what I am going to discuss, like I'm going to say, is the kids who are growing up now with iPads and you know iPhones and uh, and computers, right? Um, what's going to happen? Let's say 30 years from now, because internet has been with us, and these iPhones, for example, these smartphones have been with us. Well, internet has been with us for like what, 40 years? I don't know. Before that, I think it was part of the military or something, right? Communication. And then these iPhones and these smartphones have been with us only for 15 years. Can you believe that? 16 years. So what's going to happen in like next 16 years? I'm not saying, and I don't want to be like a zealot, technological zealot, and say, oh, the world is going to fucking come down to some sort of like a machinistic, world where even humans are going to think like these fucking machines. I'm not saying that. Then I'm not saying that there's like the apocalypse, or there's going to lead to some dystopian world. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that are these kids? I mean, I'm 49. All right, I'm 49. Actually, I'm 50. Right, and then I'm going to be gone in like, let's say, 20 years, 30 years, right? Whatever my lifespan is, right? And these kids are going to be um, born, right? Let's say 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What the hell is going to happen? How are they going to fucking grow up? I mean, are we supposed to actually preserve some of the human, like not values, sir? I mean, every person has their own values. Every family, every culture have their own values and whatnot, right? But what I'm saying is that at least can we you think we'll be able to actually like preserve some of the primal values of growing up, like especially for these kids, you know so that they don't just become really just like their like online whatever world, and so that they realize that, oh, hold on a second, I think I should go out and I should play and I should interact with other kids of my age and this and that, right? I think that's the preservation that we need. At some point, this is going to like backfire, I think. I'm not predicting anything, but this could lead to a problem. Besides the fact that in America, in Western world, we have other problem, especially, right, with kids, where we are basically, on the liberal side, especially. I don't want to fucking like, talk about different sides of the fucking spectrum, but I'm saying is like kids are kids and they should grow up as kids. Now, people are even considering kids as some grown-ups and they know what the hell they have to do. Oh, no, 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 no. Biology is the more powerful. Biology is more powerful force, more of a powerful force than us human beings, us human beings who have already grown up, our brains have already developed. My brain already developed until the age of 25, right? That's like the scientific, like the, what do you call, like a passage of whatever the fucking right? Scientific passage of right that, oh, you know what, now 25 years and your brain has developed the way it's supposed to develop, all the neurons are there, whatever, and now you can make decisions for your life, right? Exactly. So before that, your brain is still developing, right? Your neurons are still developing, right? And considering an 18, even like an 18-year-old kid, right? An adult is wrong. They have to grow up in the normal human progressive way, right? That's I think that's something that we have to preserve, right? And besides the fact uh, that I just discussed, which is preserving our human social interactive values, especially, I mean, I can't imagine what I like. I mean, if I was growing up now, right, with let's say I'm 13, 14, 15, right, and I have this like technology, I can get into anything, I can play fucking video games, I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? Except obviously, there should be some parental control, right? But in any case, the point I'm trying to make is that okay, so how would I actually, let's say in the mountains, right? If I had this, if not exactly this, but something like this, right? I'm not talking about like a fucking iPhone, but something like this, and then I had the internet, I had electricity and everything, right? We didn't have any of that at the time I was growing up. Well, electricity is still a problem, and I think I discussed that in my last podcast. But what I'm saying is that what would I have done? What would I do, right? And I'm just taking myself back to my own teenage years, but with the technology, right? Of course, nobody knew what the fuck the internet was, right? Back in the 80s, right? Especially where we come from, that's a very secluded area, right? And extremely inaccessible because of the mountains, right? And obviously, inaccessibility is becoming a big problem, I think, now because of the fucking lack of a bigger airport in the town where I grew up, right? Where my wife grew up, right? And it just that's just a whole different topic. I don't want to talk about that. All right, because that's all corruption and lack of leadership and all that bullshit, right? All right, so let's just stick to the topic. The topic was, what the hell was the topic? I lost chain of my thoughts. Yeah. So okay. So if how would I interact? How would I interact with the outer world? My friends and all that, and also then I would be in the online world, right? I don't know. That's a good question. But if I had a parent, I think they would make sure. I would want to make sure that they keep a balance for me, right? Same thing for example. Well, I mean, we had a lot of free time back in the days. I understand that part, but I think kids also have a lot of free time now. Maybe not. Maybe it's because of whatever. Do they have to learn like more than what we had to learn? Basic maths and science and whatever the fuck it was, right? Primary school, middle school. But the technology is now they have technology, right? So that means how I mean how okay, so how would you preserve? I think you preserve by telling the kids that, hey, listen, this phone, I understand this technology is good for you, but you can use it for whatever information, whatever, but you also need to fucking go out and play with your kid, with your friends, and this and that, right? So that's the fucking balance we have to preserve. Because I can see where this fucking humanity is going to go in the next 20 to 30 years. All right? Now, am I pushing for something that's really not going to like happen? Means that whatever technology is leading us is going to lead us into some fucking dystopian world. I have no fucking idea. All right, but I'm just saying, based on what's happening now, and the pace technology is moving forward with the pace, with the speed, but our biological evolution is extremely slow. We are not going to like turn into some fucking, like superhuman beings, within like 20 years when our technology is going to be like fucking supercomputers and this and that, right? In 20 years. So there you go. So technology is basically moving too fast. And we can't move too fast because, hey, this is how biology works, all right? And who created the technology? Sir, we created the technology. I understand that part, right? Slow down, humans. Slow the fuck down, humans. All right? Because it's going to backfire. All right? I'm not talking about like Skynet and the fucking, whatever it is. Or I was actually watching, I don't know why I was watching all the, the Star Wars prequels. Remember those? From 1999, 2000, 2002, I think. Yeah. And those are not as good as the original ones, right? The original, the sequel trilogy, trio, right? But I watched them again, and it's like, but that's the fucking ultimate, right? Like the Star Wars universe that Lucas created. There's the ultimate. Let's say that may happen 2,000 years from now, right? Or 3,000 years from now, where we are basically intergalactic and, it's just like the fucking empire. But the Republic versus the fucking rebellions, right? Or resistance. But that's the ultimate. I mean, that movie actually just gives us some perspective of a real dystopian fucking universe. Like, they even talk about like the outer rim of the galaxy and this and that, right? But in any case, so let's just stick to the fucking planet Earth, sir. All right. So that's something that I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just babbling. I'm just talking. Who am I preaching this choir? I mean, which choir I'm preaching this to, sir? Well, I guess I'm saying that because I'm a parent. No, I'm not a parent yet, but I mean, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. But in any case, all right. So, how is everyone doing on this Saturday night? I was just working. I did a walk. I walked in my own complex for the first time after a long time while my wife was on the phone. I miss her. This is her home. And then obviously, I got worked up because of the whole thing. Like if you have something going on in your extended family relationships and this and that, right? That just affects your fucking mind. Just like, dude, people who think they're angels and people who think they are, immune to this and they can insulate themselves and this and that, right? Well, that's good for them. I'm sorry. I can't, because I am a human being. I'm not a fucking robot, all right? And I have emotions. And I should take it easy and just like, should I just say, oh, you know what? You give fuck. Well, I can't say that, all right? All right. So, what else is going on? Sorry, I just babbled for 24 minutes on this topic of humans, um, generations to come. You know, yeah, you could say every problem is a fucking engineering problem, right? It is an engineering problem, and I'm not, I'm not saying that because I'm an engineer. I'm saying that because the advent of life, the advent of life on this planet, wherever it came from, you know, wherever it came from, whether through asteroids or comets or from, from Mars, wherever it came from, or it evolved here, right? From the basic building blocks of life, which are molecules, right? Molecules are basically made of atoms, right? But those atoms are, you can say, they're lifeless. They're lifeless. So how life created itself, right? And then the creation, the whole creation argument comes in there, right? Oh, there's some sort of higher power or higher being that actually created us and all that. All right, so where the hell am I going with this? Well, what I'm saying is that I think I think many of the problems on this fucking planet are engineering problems, which are obviously, I think people have actually turned them into more complex than necessary, you know, and I was actually trying to finish up a small booklet. I'm trying to you know work on, which I had to publish actually on Amazon. And if you think about the technology and where and how we are, or where and how and what we are, that's not the point I'm trying. What the hell am I trying to say? I guess I lost my chain of thoughts. But I think where I'm going to go with this is that we are at the forefront of something, or we have actually brought ourselves into forefront of something that we are going to be overwhelmed with. We're going to be overwhelmed with, and that forefront of something is the fucking internet. See that? Internet, and then the phones and this and that. You know the biggest addiction right now. What do you think is the biggest addiction? Alcohol, or drugs, or fucking whatever, right? Or coffee? No, 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 no. It's not even an addiction. It's the bond we have created with these gadgets. All right. Now, can you live without your phone? I don't think so. Now, that's the fucking gazillion dollar question, right? Can you live without your phone? I mean, if you ask that question to somebody in the fucking Western world or any world at this point in time, no. See that? These have become, yeah, a need. You could say they're a need, they're not an addiction. However, if they have become so much of a need, right, that we need more them than we need other human beings. We don't need any fucking social interaction with other human beings. Means like, like a real interaction where you talk to people, right? This and that, right? In whatever setup, right? You don't need that, but all you need is just like fucking this. And I think the point I was trying to make was that this is where our next generation is go down. Is going to go down if they are going to be too much dependent on these fucking things. They don't want to like even go out. They don't want to even fucking like be social and this and that. All right? Am I pushing this too much? Maybe, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that we are becoming too much dependent. So how do you actually, for example, you know how actually back in the days, I think, and this is where the prophets come to this fucking world, right? And I don't really believe in any of that either, to be honest with you. Is that when people realize that they, and us, including myself, we realize that, oh, hold on a second, we are now at a point where, especially for us, like I'm Generation X, right? Born in the 70s, and some of the generations that came after us, including, what was the fucking generation after X? Z? Was that Z, or was that the fucking millennials? Whatever, right? I think whoever, all of us who did not grow up with these things, right? Yeah, you could say we had a better life, man. And then we can tell these kids all these stories of like what we were doing and this and that, right? But okay, that's good enough. That's like that may become a fairy tale in the fucking future, and the future human beings may laugh at us when they hear our stories. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have to somehow, like, we have to somehow, what do you call, not distance ourselves, but somehow I think we have to disengage ourselves from technology, because yeah, technology is what we have created, right? But we should not be dependent on these fucking these things, to a point where we realize, holy shit, you know what, if I don't see my fucking phone, and if I cannot find my phone for 5 minutes, oh, that's it, right? When those thoughts come into our fucking mind and we realize, what the fuck do I, yeah, it's a need, right? It's a need, but this phone is not my life partner. All right? Yeah, you can talk to Siri, right? But, or Alexa, or any of these other software robots, right? But that's not, they're not real, right? They're not fucking real. So what's the fucking point? The point is that I think we have to realize, and we have to like be able to, what they say, is that like this whole thing, which is also kind of primal, is that, for example, let me go back to the primal times. All right, the primal times were hard. Okay, we have easy here. I have a fucking stove and I cook some whatever, right? And I go to the fucking grocery stores, and I can buy anything as long as I have money to buy and all this, right? And I even did a fucking video, right? Primal times were hard times, harder times. People couldn't even fucking live beyond like 30 years. You give me an example. You don't have to give me an example, all right? Because I know, right? Because that's our fucking past, right? And so the primal times were hard, but primal times were also hard in many ways, other ways, right? So, for example, if you were a fucking mason, right, back in the fucking days, right? Or if you were a carpenter, or if you were a fucking whatever, plumber, right, whatever. Or even if you were like a chieftain, you were like a fucking whatever, like princess or whatever, right? And sometimes you have to basically give yourself some fucking moments of life. And that moment of life, you know what it has taken over by now? These fucking things. All right? Back in the days, it was all family and this and that, right? And even now, like for example, where I come from, mountain, it's all family all the time and this and that, right? And it's good. I think that's our primal nature and it's good. Sometimes, yeah, it can be too much. I understand, You have to have an individual life, and you have to have your own like space and all that, right? I understand that part, but the point I'm trying to make is that by going to this primal mode, if I were a fucking mason, right, and I'm working and I'm working, and then I'm coming home, I'm dealing with this all kinds of shit, and I'm like, at some point in time, I'll say to myself, hey man, listen, maybe you should just fucking like disengage yourself from this fucking world, at least for like a few moments. And that's the disengagement. Maybe back in the days for a mason, it was his tool, maybe it was his or her, whatever, if you're a housewife, it was her cooking or whatever it was, right? So now, yeah, we may have all that. I mean, I mean, in Western world, life is different, but the point I'm trying to make is that now we have some sort of a technology that we need to be disengaged from, like at least for a few minutes, few moments, whatever, an hour. Just try to like not use your phone for half an hour. Try to do that, or an hour, right? Unless it's really necessary that you have to call somebody, some sort of, you have to pay your fucking bills or whatever the fuck it is, right? So try to do that. Try to do that and realize, holy shit, you know what? We are humans. And we are not going to be dependent on this fucking technology. Because that's not our primal, way of dealing with life. And that's where I was going to go with this, is that who knows? I mean, down the road, let's say 20 years from now, if these kids think that, wait a minute, well, this is life now, and this is our life, and they are going to be living a new life, a new human form of life, really integrated with technology. All right, and that may actually be again the beginning of the new human foundation of the new human civilization, integrated with technology, going as far as fucking Star Wars dystopian world. You think so? Well, I mean, that's a far-fetched idea, but what I'm saying is that if that's what's going to happen to us humans, which is, I think, kind of happening, then we have to basically somehow either just go full force and just say, you know what, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy that fucking gadget and I'm going to buy every fucking gadget that comes onto the fucking market. I'm going to buy and see what that does for me, right? So it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable that the human technology. Let me put my glasses on because this is my topic, right? And I'm gonna go into some other fucking mode with my glasses on. Hold on a second. My cyborg glasses on, right? All right, here we go. So the human integration with the technology, especially for the newer generation, is going to create and found a new human civilization. And we are not working on that. Means if you are from fucking future, right? If you are a being from the future, I can't imagine what the future is going to look like. But I can see where it's going, looking at the present, right? Is that these kids are going to be in their fucking houses, right? Homes, with those fucking, what are those goggles called? The big ones, right? The ones that give you the what do you call, the illusion of being in a simulated world, and also you can interact with the real world, right? If that's what's going to happen, right? And just imagine that those goggles are going to basically just be the new technology. You don't even need this fucking computer. For example, if I buy those goggles, that for, I don't know. I mean, Apple is going to come up with those goggles, right? And if that's the case, then those goggles are going to be the world, our individual world, and that's going to basically give us interaction to a world that's just going to be connected, not physically, but through internet and through fucking, these whatever, social platforms, and through cyber whatever world, right? And so why don't we just accept the fact that the fucking technology has already taken over? That the technology has already taken over our fucking lives. All right? What we are doing, I think, oh yeah, first part of my podcast was to resist that and try to be human as possible and be primal. Don't lose your fucking primal instincts, right? Including, having a partner or whatever, right? Your like intimate relationships and all that, right? Maybe we are just trying to resist this thing that's going to basically try to turn us into something else. How about that for a change, human beings? And so what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that we are going to actually just be integrated into the machines that we have created for our own benefit. All right. So what does that mean, sir? Well, you know what I mean. We are already dependent on these fucking things. Means we have to accept the fact. We have to accept the fact that, for example, okay, let me go primal again for a sec. People who had and felt too much of life on many levels, They would either, people who actually understood the, the inner voice, who understood and who heard the inner voice of their own selves, they would then act upon that inner voice, and they would say, you know what, man, our lady, I need to take a fucking break from what I'm doing. You know what? Maybe I need to go to a fucking monastery. Maybe I need to go to a fucking jungle, and and just like a mountain, and just like not even think about anything. But see, this thinking part is the hard part, right? All right. Yeah, there are things you can take that can, make you concentrate your thinking in what you're trying to do and why are you trying to like fucking run away from let's say that the daily life and the bullshit, right? So that actually kind of disengage part, right, where you disengage yourself, and then you say, you know what, I maybe I just need to like go somewhere into a monastery and just like do some whatever yoga, right? And isn't that what these some of these presidents were doing, when they had too much of this fucking bullshit in Washington, D.C., they would just disappear for 2 months, right? In the wilderness of Montana or, I don't know, Wyoming or Colorado, you know? And so, how are we going to do that, for example? Like, wasn't there a fucking movie about the life of Jake Dorsey, Twitter's one of the Twitter's founders, right? But okay, I don't want to go there. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you need a fucking break from these things, unless you say, you know what, I'm going to go to fucking yoga and or I'm going to go to the fucking mountain, and then even then I'm going to need this, I'm going to use this because this is my whatever it is, this is more important than anything in the whole fucking world. For me, it's a need, and it has become more than a fucking need. So maybe you should just accept it, right? You know how people these days talk about like, oh, you know what? I don't need a phone every minute in my fucking life. Oh yeah, you do. Stop fucking bullshit. You know why? Because you're addicted to it, you're dependent on it, it's your need. Make sense? So that's how I think technology has already taken over. No matter how much we resist, no matter how many times we tell ourselves, man, I don't, except when I'm sleeping, except when you're sleeping, right? I think that's the only time we don't use any of these fucking things. Or no? So there you go. So this is the foundation of the new human civilization, coupled, integrated with the fucking technology. And why are we going to resist this? Why should we resist this? Right? Should we then say, oh, you know what? If this is what it is, let's just accept the fucking fact. All right? Let's accept the fucking fact and just like blow through. Right? Blow through and see what happens. Means humans, if the technology is going to surpass our human evolution, then how do we keep up with this fucking technology? Or maybe we become cyborgs. Maybe we, take like fucking neurons as supplements. Yeah, well, you can't take neurons as supplements because neurons, I don't know how that works, but I mean, you can do fucking, stem cell therapy and all that, but I don't think you can do neuron therapy. Means when humans discovered fire, are the monkeys, our primates, our, you know, when they discovered fire, when they started cooking, and that's when they started having food that actually quadrupled the number of neurons in their fucking brains, right? And that's when the fucking language, everything. Yeah, well, Terence McKenna has another theory, which is, oh, they also were taking mushrooms. Maybe they were, and I don't negate that because I think some of the psychedelics, the natural psychedelics, they actually rewire your neuropathic circuits. All right, so you don't go fucking haywire. All right, so now what the fuck do we do? That now we are going like fucking speed of light with this fucking technology. Yeah, I think these are the things that we should be thinking along for us to keep up with this fucking technology. You know how we can keep up with this fucking technology? I'll tell you how. You have to see through. You have to see through into the fucking future, and without like looking at the fictional dystopian worlds that may come actually very well. That may come very well in our future. I'm gone. I'll be gone. All right. All of you will be gone too. Let's say 100 years from now. Nobody, any of you alive, 100 years from now, won't be alive. Any of you. All right. So, hear me out. When I say that maybe we should try to see through into the fucking future, right? And how we're going to do that is that maybe we can do that and see where this fucking technology is going to take us. So that means we have to see the fucking future. There are some people actually who have the ability to see the future. Means like I'm talking about, like, I'm not talking about my own future. I'm talking about the future of the fucking, the fucking human beings, this planet. I'm talking about in terms of technology. I'm not talking about destruction and nuclear bombs and all that. Fuck that. But what I'm saying is, where are these taking us? Means, yeah, we created these, and somehow now, are these the fucking technological, mechanistic gods and whatever that we have created, starting with these basic like gadgets, and then they're going to become perfection to a point where everything is going to be so fucking perfect, even though us human beings are never perfect. We are born with flaws. You know why? Because we are not perfect. Because it could be anything. It could be fucking, maybe I don't have those serotonin levels, those dopamine levels in my brain, and those, maybe I have those fucking imbalances, like chemical. So that's why And it could also be because of my whatever years and years of using one fucking type of food, right? Could be that too, right? So, or malnutrition, whatever the fuck it is, right? But where is this going to lead us is what we need to figure the fuck out. Yeah, you can have a little bit of hint here and there, but you can't keep up this fucking technology. And I think the only way to keep up with this fucking technology is to have visions, to see where it's taking us. People who are actually kind of traditional and old school, they would resist and they would say, oh, you know what? This is not what we are. Oh, we are better than these fucking machines. Well, we are not. You could be the fucking, what do you call, whatever. You could be like a leader of some sort of a fucking, like a universal, like, form of, like, fucking, whatever, some cult, right? And you say, oh, you know what, our we are in sort of a perfect fucking, you know setup of, like, these human beings who have the vision and who have the, they don't need to be part of this. And then we are like this fucking, like, council of fucking Jedis. Sorry, because I was watching fucking Star Wars prequels. But how are we going to actually keep up with this fucking technology? Yeah, we need people with fucking visions. And when I say people with visions, people, how, okay, okay, this is where I'm going to go with this. You know how people actually act and they think that they have achieved some sort of fucking nirvana in their lives. People who act angelic, people who act as if they don't have any fucking flaws, you know people who are acting like the leaders of a fucking clan and this and that, right? Whatever, presidents and this and that. Oh, we don't need any of this. Oh, no, no, no. We are getting integrated in 21st century to this technology. The only thing we need to fucking figure out is, where is this going to go 50 years from now? 40 years from now? And I think the only way to see that is through visions, through, I think, psychedelics. People who may achieve this state of mind through yoga and this and that, right? Well, maybe they do. But we need people with visions who can actually give us some sort of a fucking preclude, right? A what is that fucking term? Not premonition, but some sort of a preview of what is this technology is taking us. Where is this leading us to? In terms of our human civilization. All right? Yeah, you can watch all kinds of fucking porn on these fucking things, right? And then you can be in some fucking black hole of YouTube videos, right? And then you can just be in some fucking video game black hole, right? Yeah, I mean, it has already taken us there, and it's just whatever, right? But what is some sort of a semi quasi ultimate of where are we going with this? And that's why we need fucking visions, and visions will come through for people who are more practical, and and who are not going to spend like 40 years to walk on fucking water just to learn how to walk on fucking water. And then what, sir? You're going to walk on fucking water, cross the fucking river, and then you go to the other side and you figure out what? That you wasted fucking 40 years. Just, wasn't there a joke that Terence McKenna was saying? In any case, I'm not the fucking Terence McKenna, but I think if you really want to see, like, if you really want to, okay, so I think this is the human power of will, right? Human power of will is that first of all, you have to obviously, you have to like distance yourself from all the bad things that, and this and that, right? You have to have a strong whatever, right? But all that breaks down when you take a fucking psychedelic, and then it just exposes you to yourself and the world, and not to the world, but what I'm saying is that it just gives you this ability to see through. And I think if the technology at the molecular level, then I think psychedelics are the ultimate answer to many of our questions, including where the fuck have we come from? Where the fuck the universe has come from? What was before fucking Big Bang, if there was ever fucking Big Bang, right? Is there some sort of higher being who has created this whole fucking thing in some sort of a simulation, right? I don't want to fucking go there where I just, I talk about, oh yeah, we are the only planet as far as we know. We don't know anybody else. Nobody has contacted us. We haven't contacted anybody. We don't have that fucking ability. Yeah. See that? That's, I think, the ultimate, the fucking, way of visioning this fucking universe. But let's not go to the fucking universe, sir. I'm talking about human civilization, because this is the only civilization we know. This is the only planet we know where we have fucking life. And just imagine, I'm not trying to be too pessimistic here, just imagine we fucking blow ourselves up. In the grand fucking scheme of things. And then we don't even know if there was ever something else, like not something else, if there was ever, if you could find life on other, if there was any other world where there was life. In any case, so that's my podcast, everyone. And sorry, I just babbled. For the better, I hope. Not for the worse. The fucking humanity. As if I'm solving the problems. I'm not solving any fucking problems. This is how I just babble. And with that said, I'll see you all next week.